Hi guys. Hi. You're welcome. You're welcome to another episode of Dearest Diamond, a Diamond's Memoir. My name is Diamond and you're welcome. You're welcome. So this is another episode sponsored by the Nigerian Canadians for Cultural Education and Economic Progress. They're a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting progress for individuals of African descent in Canada. They have a diverse range of programs, activities, training, and events, and they strive to facilitate growth and prosperity within the community at large. They offer multiple programs that aim to assist different members of the community, and you can check their page out at ncceep.com. This is Voices of Inclusion, bridging Canadian communities through shared stories. And today we will be talking about Roots Unearthed. We have a guest who has basically toured the world, in my opinion. She's been everywhere, and so we're gonna delve into the captivating story and moving against all odds, planting new roots on Canadian soil, and what it's been like moving here as a teenager, and how she's grown and kind of like tried to balance life as she knew it with what she knows now. So I'll let her introduce herself, and then we'll start from there. So hi.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Thank you so much. Her name is...
So I am Benita.
Thank you. And so tell me, where did you grow up? Tell me, where were you born, and how have you come to be here?
I don't know. You mean your whole life?
Tell me about it. Yeah.
So in short, so I was born in Congo, and my parents moved to Nigeria. So I probably must have been around the age of 2. And I lived in Nigeria from the age of 2 to the age of 10. And from there on, we moved to Benin Republic till the age of about 13, which is when we moved to Canada. And in Canada, we were in Quebec, more specifically in a city called Drummondville, which is about an hour and a half out of Montreal. So it's kind of small, but it's growing. So pretty much that's the basic of what it is.
So you moved to Canada when you were a teenager, when you were 13.
13, yes.
Okay, that's great. How was it?
I want to say it was it was nice, it was exciting. It was really, it was exciting until it became a shock.
What was the shocking part?
I mean, the thing is, you have to, you leave your friends back home, you come here, expecting, whatever people put, as expectations for you, saying that, Canada is, like this and like that. But I'm when you get here, you kind of, realize that, that's not what it is. And, you have, a new reality where, it's cold, where you have, to make new friends. And, your friends are not necessarily, Africans or Black people. They're most likely, I had, Latino friends from Colombia. I had friends from Iraq. From Senegal, so it was a mixture of different other cultures, which I've never had friends other than maybe Nigerian friends or Congolese friends, right? So to me it was very different, but it was nice. But then at first it was oh my god, this is not what I know.
I can understand a little bit. I remember moving when I was in let's say 12. I moved cities, and it wasn't even a huge country move where there's such huge differences, but then I know how much that impacted me. So I can just imagine moving to a whole new country when you're 13, and when you should have started making your friends and establishing your roots, and then you just have to move. And I can understand that a bit, but nothing close to what you've been through.
It was a switch.
But okay. Yeah. So thank you for joining us once again. So tell me, adapting to a new culture can definitely be a challenge, especially when you're in high school. So can you share some of the highs and lows you experienced during those early years? Well, I know, especially in the friendship space, can be a bit tough. So tell me how
different. They're different people, man. They're nice, but they're different people.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do I start with the highs or with the lows? Let me probably just start with the lows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your choice.
Let's do that. Yeah. I want to say, as lows, I'm guessing, because obviously when you move here, you have to deal with all the, I guess, language barriers, which obviously I I used to speak French like when I moved to Quebec already, but then my French was not like, you know, as fluent, because obviously in Nigeria I had went to English schools, like to Nigerian schools. And even when we moved to Benin Republic, my mom tried to have us like go to a French school for a little while. It didn't work out because obviously we were used like to an English system, right? So she put us like back into like a Nigerian school in Benin Republic. So that's like a continuity, right? So moving here, they were like, yeah, you know, you cannot go to, you know, to like an English school, so you have to go to a French school.
Because why couldn't you go to an English school?
Because they have like this law. It's called the La Loi 101. So it's called Law 101.
This is in Quebec, yeah?
In Quebec, yes. Okay. Meaning that basically if you have a parent that did not go like to an English school in Quebec, you are not qualified to go to an English school in Quebec. So as an immigrant, not having, you know, any, I guess like family like relations who went to an English school, then you have to go to a French school by default.
I see.
Yeah, so obviously like I had like to go through like, I mean, my sister and I, like we went through like a French test, written French test, and we failed it because obviously first of all we've been like going through like school in English, right? I mean, like we spoke French, we could understand it really, really well, but like, you know, like the other aspect of like writing French and whatnot was a whole different thing, because like you're not used to learning in French, you just like I guess like used to speaking it, and that's what it is, right? So yeah, so I guess like the low was, you know, for me having to like, I want to say like it kind of like delayed my education of like 2 years for me, because, you know, I had like to go through like a process where they call it francisation, which means basically like you have to like learn certain things back in French again, and like learn how to write certain things, like just learn how to like do certain things, right? And so that's what I did. So that took me, I think, a year to do. Then after I had like to restart high school again. So I must have been like, I want to say around like 14 when I had like to restart like the first year of high school.
Oh, wow.
Knowing how like back in Nigeria, I probably should have been like in, I think it was something like JS2 or even like going to JS3, right? So I was really mad because I'm like, you know, like this is 2 years of loss. So yeah, no. So basically, I mean, that was like for me was a low. Because, you know, I had to like to backtrack and, you know, think about, oh my God, I'm not liking this because like it's not my normal progress, like my normal, you know, way of doing things. But we had to learn it, right? The upside, I want to say, I made lots of friends from everywhere. Like I had Colombian friends, I had friends from Senegal, I had friends from Congo, from Ivory Coast, honestly from Iraq. And honestly, I think it was fun like finding like, you know, other like diverse people, because in my high school when I started there, it was literally, actually it was like 95% Quebec people, it was 95% Canadians in the school, right?
Oh, so I see.
Yeah, so you feel very much like a minority. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows you. They do. And like honestly, well, like one of the highs for me was like playing basketball to integrate myself through like the education. Nice. Yeah, so I played basketball for I think about 4 years. And mind you, I was the only black girl in the entire basketball
on the team
for the whole 4 years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was crazy. That was something. That was an experience. But then, you know, like that's, I think was like my way to integrate my, you know, like myself in the culture and like in the school, to like be more known, to have like more friends, and eventually, you know, like you get to make friends with other people that are like, you know, non-immigrants, and that's how it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still have friends from high school?
Yeah, I do. I still, cool. Yeah, I think, well, friends, I don't want to say like we're that close, but, you know, I still do have friends like, you know, where we talk here and there, but like, you know, we don't really hang out as much because, you know, after high school we all have a different paths, and then life happens, right? So yeah, no, I do have like those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So do you have any idea why your parents left Congo or Rwanda?
Yeah, so baseline story, in 1994, like, you know, like there was the genocide that went on in Rwanda. So my mom, you know, at the time she was, I think, 6 months pregnant for my sisters. Like they had to leave, and then they went all the way to Tanzania, where my sister was. She was born over there.
Okay.
And then they moved around as well. Then like they came back to Congo, where I was born in '96. I think it was like around November '96, and then they had to like run away like literally a month after, and I was a baby. So from then on, like they moved around, like anyway, like she's been to Central Africa, they've been to Cameroon, They've been to like the other Congo, like Congo Brazzaville. So like they have to like to go around places like to find like where is the best place to settle, because obviously you have 2 kids now, like you have 2 daughters. You can't just like, you know, be in a war zone because it's not safe, right? So yeah, and then they kind of like ended up going to Nigeria, and then they went to Bible school. I think it's the one with Benson Idewisa.
Okay.
Yes, so Church of Nations, I think that's what they call
Church of
it.
God Mission.
Yeah, God Missions. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, Church of God Missions.
Okay.
That was the like they went there. They were there for a couple of years. Then, we lived like there for a while before. Yeah.
And then you moved to Benin Republic, and then
my mom had moved there before with my brother, because, you know, obviously he was sick, so he needed like attention, and because she did not speak so much of English, so she left us like with like a Nigerian family in Nigeria, which I want to say, like, you know, they were really, really like good with us. They raised us like
great.
So honestly, I honestly, like, I grew up like Nigerian way when I was in Nigeria. Like I experienced like Nigerian child life, you know. So which is really funny, right? So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no. So that's why, you know, we ended up there, and so she went to Benin Republic. So every summer we would go see her in Benin Republic. So we would just go over there. We like pick up French, come back, like we'll get like a bit more Frenchy. So it was really funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was it.
How did that moving around a lot affect? Like, would you say that has affected you as an adult? Like, are you easily adaptable to situations based on like moving around as a child, or like?
I want to say somehow it made me. I don't want to say like. I mean, not attached, but then, you know, like when you move, you're just like, hey, I'm moving out to do this, I'm going. And you don't, it's not like you're kind of, you know, inconsiderate about people. It's just, you kind of just feel like, well, you can just do it. So you just move, and obviously it hurts because, like, you know that like people are behind, like other people behind, like my loved ones, my friends. But then you're like, I'm going to make new friends. But then it's like, is it a bad thing?
Been
yes
there,
or
done
no?
that.
Exactly. Yeah, it feels just like that. You know, like, see, I moved from Montreal to Calgary. Like, it did hurt, but then I was like, you know what? This is life. I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna make new friends, and I'm gonna come back and visit them, and like, you know, we'll still talk, and we'll still have like a communication. So, to me, I think obviously like it is for sure like destabilizing, because you feel, oh, am I doing wrong by like, you know, not wanting to just settle like in one place, or like does that make me like someone who's like not stable in, you know, in whatever I want to do? But then it also kind of like brings you more like adventures in life, because you learn new things. You learn like, you know, about different places, like cultures, and like you're more open to whatever you see, and like you're kind of like less prone to, I want to say, lock up to.
I
so
see.
yeah,
you're not as stuck up as like
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you just see people, and then you're like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna try new things, like new food. Like you're open to a lot more things than you normally would be if you didn't move around as much because of that. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds really interesting. In terms of cultural identity, where would you say you identify with the most?
Oh my God. That's a hard question. Cultural identity. The thing is, I want to say like, I want to say African, you know, I feel Afro-Canadian, like I would say like Pan-African. I don't feel like I belong to just one country, because first off, right, like my parents, like they're partly Rwandese. I wasn't born there. I did not grow up there. I didn't learn like the culture as much as like, you know, all the Rwandese people would, because I, you know, like obviously like also grew up like in a Nigerian household, right? So I do feel probably more Congolese and Nigerian.
I see.
And I do eat like a lot of Nigerian food, and I make them too, right? So for me, it's like I feel a lot more Nigerian, right? So no. So for me, it's a very mixed thing, right? Because, you know, it's like you learn like all these cultures, and like obviously by having like other friends, you know, I have friends like from Cameroon, from Ivory Coast, from Congo, from Nigeria. So basically, like it just makes you're very mixed up like in everything. So it's just hard to say, oh, like I belong to just one culture, because then like when you see how like your other friends are, like how like Africans are like in general, we have like similar things across like the continent. So you're like, yeah, I can fit in like wherever,
anywhere, right?
But then like it's still hard like sometimes to say, oh, I'm Rwandese, because then sometimes like they go, oh, well, you're not, because like you don't speak like a language. Or they say, well, you're not really, like you're just like a fake one, you know. But it's just like, how can I be fake, you know? Like I have like all these like life experiences, so I'm trying to just like, you know, piece myself in. So it's like you can never I want to like be like a perfect fit like in every culture, but then like at the same time you're very much like mixed into everything, so you can kind of like get and like understand every culture even if like like a perfect mold into it.
That
but
makes
it's
sense.
still so I feel very much like Pan-African / Canadian / Quebecois.
You know, like hearing you say that reminds me of what one of the ex-presidents of Nigeria once said. He's like, I belong to everyone and I belong to no one.
No one. That's it. That's the word for it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Plus even like being in Quebec, right? I also have like this Quebec culture that I've, like, I guess like adopted as well, or like, grew up even in high school with like, like having friends in high school, like growing up there. The food, the culture, like the people, like you learn like a lot about how they are, and they're like somehow like part of like of who you are. Also becomes like Quebecois, right? So that's it's really funny.
Okay, that's cool. Your academic journey, how did that shape your aspirations for the future? Like coming from where you came from, definitely the academics must have been different, right? So your experiences and the way like school went here, did that shape the kind of person you wanted to be, what you wanted to study and stuff like that?
Right. Yes, I think it does a lot of shaping in who I am today, because getting here, like having to like readapt to like a whole different school system, and that's completely like different from what I've known, like from like the Nigerian school system. And getting here, like, having to learn, like, the Canadian or, like, even the Quebec school system, which is different from, like, the whole Canadian school system, too, right? Because, like, they have, like, their own thing going on there, too, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no, it's, like, you have, like, to, like, go through, like, everything. And I want to say, like, I had, like, a very hard time with, like, mathematics and French. French, like, being not, like, even speaking or listening. It was mostly, like, the writing aspect of it. Because, like, when you have, like, to write French, like, there's so much, like, grammatical rules, like, in the language itself that you have to, like, to be very careful, like very like meticulous about like your faults and everything, because like your faults can make something sound
all those accents.
Yes, the accent, like the 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 everything is just so different, right? So like you have to like make sure that like you are good with that, right? So when I finished high school, because like I had like I still had like to go to this like adult schooling to finish like my French of high school, because like the thing is, we obviously like you need to have like your French of, because like obviously like there's 5 years here, like so like basically Tunisians, like they have 5 years of high school. So like when you're doing like your ministerial exams, you have to pass your French from your 5th year, your math from your, I think, your 4th year, science from your 4th year as well, and and history I think from your 4th to 5th year, I'm not sure anymore. But so I had to like to do like an extra year like in an adult schooling, so I could like go do that like French and like pass the exam, because like I had taken that like exam 2 or 3 times and I had failed it because of like the grammar, nothing else, just grammar, like syntax. That's what they call it, right? So so like after that, like I told myself, I was like, you know what, I was like, because like Quebec has like high school and then like they also have college before you go to uni. So like I tried like 1 semester in a French college, and not that I hated it, it was nice, it was cool, but I was like, this is not for me. It's not for me at all. It is like, honestly, it's not hard, but like the fact that like, let's say if you have like, let's say like to write just a normal history essay, if you have like more than 10 like orthographical faults or like mistakes in that like one essay, you are failing your exam.
Oh wow.
You feel exactly. So like I think like it drops it down to like 60%. So like they take like the language very, very seriously, which I think I don't understand, because like I know like it's like the only place where like French is so much spoken, and like it's very important, like important to keep your language intact. But then like sometimes I was like, you know what, sometimes maybe just ease a bit on it.
Can you guys just stop stressing
us? Just ease on it. Like you don't have to stress us and talk about like you guys must have this and this and this, because like it's already hard enough, right? And I know like so much like immigrants that like their French is so much more better than people than like some Quebec people themselves.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
But they just probably can't write it, or
they like they can write it, everything like it's even much more better than people from Quebec. Like even like sometimes I would like, let's like for example on social media, like I will see comments from people who are like from Quebec, like the amount of faults that I see myself, I'm like, whoa.
And yet you all stress me so much.
And yes, I was so much stressed about like this language thing, but like knowing that like they're not even like better than we are. But that was like I think one of my biggest stresses. But then after that, like I went back to English college. I went like to English, because then obviously like after high school you can go back into like an English college, and like it's not a problem.
I see.
Yes, like that law basically applies for, so remember like we talked about like Loi 101, Law 101. So like that law just applies for for like elementary and high school. So in college, I went back to like to Dawson College, downtown Montreal. We're repping. Yeah, no, so I went back into English, yeah, and then I'm like, in uni, because like right now I'm studying in political science. So yeah, so I feel like, because I feel very like Pan-African, I feel like the need to maybe like, to be involved like in a community, to to be involved like in our African or even like just our Black community, because I feel like it's important for us like, to be out there, like to represent, like, because even like in our government bodies, you don't have as much like Black people, you don't have as much like Black women, you don't have like as much African out there, it's like you have to like to rep it out, right? So
right,
yeah, so school has like I think it has shaped me a lot, right? Because then like I get to like learn and see, okay, what do I like, what don't I like, why can like like what do I want to change, right? And if like I, let's say, pursue like a career in politics, I would want to be like a policy analyst, because I do feel like shaping like a policy before it gets out to harm people is like is the best place to be.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, because like I don't want to be out there like changing policies before it gets out there and apply. Change it first.
Okay. So. Okay. That's cool. Talking about social media and policies and stuff, I see that you're very, very invested in Congolese politics and things that affect Rwandese people and Congolese people, and seeing that you barely grew up there, right? Why do you feel such a strong connection? You didn't grow up there, you just heard that you're from there. How, like, make me understand, how do you feel such a strong connection to a place that you rarely know?
Because my roots are there. My roots are there, my family's still there, my grandmother lives there, my cousins live there, my aunts live there, like they all live like in the east part of Congo, right? So which is where like that's the hot point of it. Like that's where you have like all these like beautiful diamonds and golds and all those like minerals that are used for phones and everything, right? So like they're all from there. So I do feel like as someone who's very African, if I don't like stand up for what is important, like even in like from where I'm from, like from my own roots, then why am I standing up for everybody else?
True.
Like you have to start from where I like from me, right? So, and even if like I haven't been there since I've been born, it's still important to know that like it's a place where I will one day go back to, and I will still like go back to find my roots over there. Okay. So, but then obviously my roots are everywhere, because like a tree doesn't just have roots in one place, right? A tree just has the roots everywhere, right? Branches are everywhere, right? So yeah, so I just feel like the need is very important, because if you don't like, let's say, as someone who's here, maybe I feel like I have like maybe like a bit like more voice, or like more people to get to, like put like to, I guess, like to understand like the issues of like whatever is going on there, because I might have like a different audience, and sometimes people don't need to learn what's going on out there, and maybe let's say someone that's from back home might have like a whole different I want to say like a different how do I say it again? Like, like different people that they can reach out to, right? So if I have like people here that like I know that I can reach out to, and like people that can even just learn what it's about, then like that's a change. Like it's a change of like knowing that, hey, Africa is not just about like people living in huts, like it's people that have like resources, like we have all these things, like we're important, like we basically like we power like the entire planet, like we can give like all this like gold and whatever, and like Ivory Coast, like, or like even Ghana like produces like a lot of cocoa, like like we can power the earth. And like if we have like, I feel like what pains me out a bit is just like I kind of wish that we just don't produce, well, like we just don't like just produce, but like we also like how do I say?
I get what you mean. Like we don't just have these raw materials, but we also like maybe develop them to use them, and not just sell them as they are. Right?
Exactly. Yes. Like we should be able like to produce them in our own home, and like not just like have it produced like elsewhere in Europe and like bring it back home, and then like just sell it back to people, because like what's the need of doing that?
I get that.
It's just that's
okay.
I hope I answered the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing with us. And before you go, I just want to ask, because your journey definitely speaks of growth, speaks of resilience. It's not easy knowing that you're a child of war, and then like not having probably visited home, and being through all of these countries, and then coming here and just trying to make a name for yourself and trying to find your own path. So what is one thing that you would share with youths, people who are just coming. Maybe they've come with their parents and they're just coming to the city and finding their own way, probably feeling lost, missing their friends and things like that. What advice would you offer to them, you know, just to say it's okay and you'll be fine?
Yeah, I want to say don't give up. That's one thing, because sometimes you can be here thinking, oh my God, maybe I was so much more better with my friends back home, or like maybe this was a better thing. But I want to say don't give up, because like sometimes just like the school process here might seem really like as if you will never get out of it. But honestly, I even thought that like I would never finish high school at some points in life, because I had to go like through like I had to go through like this whole like adult like education process where like, you know, it's one more year, and then like even like my college, it probably took me like a year more than it would, because, you know, you have to like work while going to school, and then like you have to hustle, right? So like the thing in this country is you have to like go with the process, trust yourself, knowing that like you have whatever it takes to make it, and just don't give up on yourself. Like, you know, like talk to people, talk to your family, like, you know, create bonds with people that are good for you. Like, you know, just have fun experiencing your things. Don't be afraid of anything, because you can do it all.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you, babes. So my takeaway, don't be afraid of anything. You can do it all.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So I want to assume that right now you're the better for it, because you're bilingual. You speak both French and English. You can write in French and English. So as much as it must have been hard, it kind of like has its good sides.
It does. Because obviously, you know, I'm able to like, you know, I want to say like it's easier like when you apply for jobs, because you can apply for English and French, and obviously like your pay is a bit more because of like, you know, that extra, you know, language that you have in your pocket. So it is a good thing, you know. Like honestly, it's not all bad. It's also good like when you get opportunities, like where you have like more people from everywhere that you can communicate with, and like you don't feel like you're just stuck to one, maybe like just like Ghanaians or like just like Nigerians. Like you can have friends from like everywhere, you know. So it's really really good.
That's cool. Thank you so much for doing this, for being here, and for sharing your experience. Part of the reason we're doing this is to create an awareness that we're all similar in some kind of way, and it's okay. It doesn't matter where you came from or what you knew before you came or who you were before you came, but then you're here now. And, you know, just like life, everything is a journey and it starts from somewhere. And 5 years, 10 years down the line, you look back and you realize I'm absolutely not where I was before. And exactly, you'd be proud. So yeah, thank you so much, Benita, for being on Dearest Diamond. This is Voices of Inclusion, bridging Canadian communities through shared stories. Have an amazing week and day, whatever you are doing. Guys, take care. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Okay. I hope that was good.